keeping you informed, prepared, and connected. You're watching 10 Tampa Bay.
Joining us here on 10 Tampa Bay Plus. Thanks for being with us here at 5 on 10 Tampa Bay Plus. I'm Courtney Robinson.
And I'm Dave Wagner. We start this evening with team coverage ahead of Tampa's biggest event of the year, a full-fledged pirate invasion, from how police are coping with cold, choppy waters to the money the festival brings into the city. We have everything you need to know about this year's Gasparilla.
All right, let's take you out live to Bayshore Boulevard right now. The bay will soon be filled with boats during the flotilla. Boaters, of course, are going to have to bundle up. But we start with 10 Tampa Bay Chief Meteorologist Bobby Deskins. Bobby, it's going to be a cold start. It's going to warm up as well. It looks fun out there already.
Yeah, it is. I mean, the sun finally returned today, so that alone helps us out, right? But take a look at the forecast for tomorrow. It will start in the 30s, even on Bayshore, 39, 40 degrees just to get it started. But notice it's sunny, it's dry, such a key thing to have right on Gasparilla Day. And we'll make it back to the low 60s, about 62 degrees for a high. Now, look, last year we were 81. On Gasparilla Day, 62 for this year. You can see sunshine, just a few high clouds out there. 55 now in Tampa, but most areas are lower than that, generally 50 to 55. As we move through tonight, we're going to keep a little bit of a breeze, north to northeast winds, and that will go through tomorrow. And I'll talk about the boating plan for tomorrow as well. We'll have that forecast, but that brings in cool air. We've gotten rid of most of the low clouds, so we're going to get a colder night tonight, just because of the radiational cooling that'll happen. So we have a weather impact alert for tonight, basically starting at the 2 a.m. But yeah, back into the mid-30s. I think in Tampa, tonight will be the coldest night so far this season. We were 37 this morning, forecasting about 36 tomorrow morning. So it's going to be very cold. That means freeze warnings are on the map for Pasco, Hernando, and Citrus. I'll go over all of this in my full forecast. But look, after the coldest start in the morning, we're going to warm things up. And then I think it's smooth sailing for the next couple of weeks. I'll talk about that coming up.
And as you put together your pirate wear, layering is going to be your best friend because it's going to start out chilly. Organizers tell us there won't be any place to warm up along the parade route, so you want to come prepared. By afternoon, though, it is going to warm up a bit, as Bobby mentioned. Snowbirds know this drill here, but some long-term Floridians might need a little bit of extra planning. And for those participating in the invasion, could even feel colder.
Yeah, and that has Tampa Police Marine Unit talking strategy and, of course, offering people some warm words of wisdom. 10 Tampa Bay's Eric Glasser is live for us tonight in South Tampa. And Eric, air, land, and sea.
They got everybody covered, right? Guys, yeah, well, as Bobby was talking about, the good news for the landlubbers here along Bayshore Boulevard, where we are tonight, is that by the afternoon when the parade starts, it could warm up at least a little bit. But as you said, for the folks who are going to be out there on the water during the course of the invasion with the pirate ship, it may be uncomfortably cold.
Just like anybody else, we layer up. We try to keep ourselves as warm as possible.
Take it from someone who's out on the water every day, rain or shine, hot or cold. Corporal Jay Reese with the Tampa Police Marine Unit knows weather this cold presents challenges.
Any day we check the weather, but it does make us bundle up a little bit more. Our divers will carry a little bit extra gear, so if they have to go in the water, it can keep them warm and safe.
Aside from proper safety equipment and a sober designated boat operator, the Marine Unit also wants people to stay out of the water.
Last year we had warmer weather and folks were jumping in to get beads out of the water. That's a concern with how cold it is too, but on Gasparilla Day, we're going to have probably close to 2,000 boats in the area. We certainly don't want anybody getting hit by a boat or a prop. That's extremely dangerous.
There are actually a couple of reasons why it really does feel colder on a boat than it does even on land. One of the reasons is because water holds on to heat better than land does. The other is because when you're on a boat, you're creating your own wind chill.
It is going to feel much colder with the wind chill out there. It feels like it's probably about 10 degrees colder than it is on land.
Absolutely. You can't dress warm enough. Bring some blankets on the boat.
Garrett Garcia was captaining his own boat today, but tomorrow he'll be one of the crew aboard the pirate ship. He agrees.
Cold is tough. Layers. I put on, long johns underneath all my, like skiing long johns underneath all of my pirate gear just to try and stay warm. And you can always take your layers off. But man, if you get out on that water and you don't have enough layers, it's not going to be a fun day.
No, that would not be fun. Being that cold is not a good idea. So listen to some of the advice there from people who have experience and also folks who make a living out of being out there on the water. I'm told that there are going to be over 100 different vessels, first responder vessels, out there during the course of all this. And there are a few rules this year. They're asking people to maintain that idle speed. That's just kind of crawling along and enough to maneuver your boat. Also, no jet skis and no manually operated rowboats or canoes this year. That's an order from the Coast Guard. Also, one more note, once those first responders and officials have the pirate ships safely to the dock, they're going to sort of switch their focus of the operation, and they're going to start leaning more towards enforcing BUI, boating under the influence. And they tell us that that will likely go on well into the early evening. Reporting live along Bayshore Boulevard in South Tampa, Eric Lasser, 10 Tampa Bay.
Keeping everybody safe. Okay, Eric, thank you. And we are ready to fire the cannons and, of course, bring a big boom to local businesses.
Yeah, hours from now, Gasparilla is going to draw hundreds of thousands to Bayshore Boulevard, bringing hundreds of thousands of wallets as well. And 10 Tampa Bay's Hannah Deneen joins us live from downtown Tampa this evening. Hannah, people are already flooding that area.
Yes, Dave, we've already seen some pirates stalking around town today. Visit Tampa Bay estimates roughly 300,000 people will come to town tomorrow for the Gasparilla Parade and surrounding festivities, and in the process, bring some serious loot to local businesses.
Gasparilla to dress like a pirate and shenanigans.
As Gasparilla takes over Tampa, Trisha Brown of Nashville's pirate alter ego feels right at home.
Captain Longlegs.
But while in town, Captain Longlegs has plans beyond plundering.
Actually, we're just on our way to go to the aquarium. Right. People said to check it out.
Other pirates already setting out to explore area restaurants and bars.
Them up from the airport yesterday. The airport was crazy. It's just extra crowded. It's extra fun. Everyone's looking to have a good time.
We say New Year's Eve's a sprint. Gasparilla is a marathon.
Chris McVitie, owner of Jackson's Bistro Bar, which overlooks the invasion, says Gasparilla business will top a regular Saturday by 400%.
It's like the pinnacle, you know, they always want work today. Everyone shows up for work on time because, they don't want to miss this shift.
Their cabana spaces, which sell for thousands, have been sold out for weeks.
It's going to be huge crowds. I mean, it's where the party's at. It's where everyone wants to be.
So years ago, parade organizers, they estimated that the economic impact to local economies was $40 million. That's what Gasparilla brought in. I asked today, they told me unfortunately that figure is outdated. They don't have a new stat for us, but in a statement tonight, they said it's clear visitors are booking hotel rooms, dining in local restaurants, and shopping with local retailers. And from what we've seen today, it certainly is. Coming up at 6, the South Tampa Chamber of Commerce shares the feedback that they are already hearing from local retailers about this Gasparilla season. Live in Tampa, Hannah Deneen, 10 Tampa Bay.
All right, Hannah, and you can find our full guide to Gasparilla with everything you need to know, whether you're planning on going or just trying to avoid all that gridlock that comes with it. That's on our free 10 Tampa Bay app. An update on a case we've been following for years now. A judge has determined one of 2 men accused of a deadly beating spree is competent to stand trial. Savon Morrison is charged with the first-degree murder of a 49-year-old man who police say was beaten to death with a tire iron by Morrison and his accomplice. Earlier that same night in 2022, the 2 are accused of attacking a 79-year-old man walking home from his job at Tropicana Field. We spoke to that man after the incident. He was recovering from broken ribs, a shattered hand, and the potential amputation of his index finger. The other suspect, Jermaine Bennett, pleaded guilty to the crimes, currently serving a life sentence. At this time, no word yet on a trial date, but we will keep you updated.
Right now, a Pasco real estate and property manager faces charges of grand theft. Investigators say he stole more than $1.5 million from his clients. Michael Bundy runs Sunista Realty in Newport Richey. Police say that over the past few months, he's put clients' money into escrow only to drain those accounts later. Officers tell us every day there are more victims coming forward. So far, there are 26 with a combined $360,000 missing. So that still leaves more than $1 million unaccounted for. Newport Richey police want to hear from you. If you think you might be a victim or have any information, reach out.
Also be signed an executive order to begin the process of fundamentally reforming and overhauling FEMA or maybe getting rid of FEMA. I think, frankly, FEMA is not good.
President Donald Trump handing down some criticism for FEMA today as he made a stop in Asheville, North Carolina. The president toured the area, still recovering from the devastating flooding that was brought, of course, by Hurricane Helene.
He's going to head soon to California to see the damage from ongoing wildfires. This disaster tour is coming as the annual March for Life rally takes over Washington, D.C. Erica Brown has the latest.
President Trump and First Lady Melania Trump visited North Carolina Friday to see firsthand the damage left behind by Hurricane Helene 4 months ago.
We've come to North Carolina with a simple message for all the people of this region who were hit so hard by Hurricane Helene, and that message is very simple. You are not forgotten any longer.
It was the president's first stop on a disaster tour that will take him to Los Angeles later today to survey the still burning catastrophic wildfires that killed more than 24 and left thousands without their homes. During his North Carolina stop, the president said he will sign an executive order to reform, overhaul, or dismantle FEMA, the federal agency responsible for responding to disasters.
I think, frankly, FEMA is not good. I think when you have a problem like this, you want to use your state to fix it and not waste time calling FEMA. They want to bring people that aren't as good as the people you already have. And FEMA's turned out to be a disaster.
The president's visit coincides with the annual anti-abortion rights rally here in Washington. Vice President J.D. Vance spoke at the event in his first public appearance since being sworn in.
America is fundamentally a pro-baby, a pro-life, and a pro-family country.
Despite the Supreme Court overturning Roe v. Wade in 2022, organizers say there's still more work to do to reduce the number of abortions in the U.S. each year. Erica Brown, CBS News, Washington.
The Gasparilla festivities are going to cause some gridlock on the roads coming up the streets to avoid so you don't get caught in traffic.
Jeopardy is for everybody.
That's amazing. Oh, yeah.
With players just like you.
Paramedic, a retired teacher, psychiatrist.
I'm a little bit competitive.
That's the spirit.
Watch their victories.
We have a giant killer.
And heartbreaks.
Oh, no.
The next super champion could be anyone.
It's almost like a superhero origin story.
It could be you.
Oh, wow.
It's all happening on Jeopardy.
Jeopardy weeknights at 7:30 right here on 10 Tampa Bay. Weather impacts your life every day. I'm 10 Tampa Bay Chief Meteorologist Bobby Deskins. You can find out about any change in the weather with our 10 Tampa Bay Plus app. Just stream for the latest forecast, any weather impact alert, updated tropics forecast, and take a live look at the radar. Anytime you want, and it's free. It's just one more way we're helping you stay informed, prepared, and connected. Stream 10 Tampa Bay Plus.
Here are the stars of our show.
I am your host, Ryan Seacrest.
The Wheel You Love is back.
Yes! Let's have some fun.
This season will truly be unlike any other.
This has never happened before on Wheel of Fortune.
With bigger trips.
Yeah, baby.
Bigger prizes.
I'd love to take you backstage to the iHeartRadio Music Festival.
And bigger surprises.
There it is.
What a great show!
Let's do it again tomorrow.
Wheel, weeknights at 7 on 10 Tampa Bay. 10 Tampa Bay with Courtney Robinson, Frank Wiley, and Chief Meteorologist Bobby Deskins.
Finally Friday, and finally, hopefully, some warmer temperatures. Looking live now at downtown St. Pete. You can see the sun out there shining. Listen, the cold shelters, though, they are about to open up. The doors will open in less than an hour. These are the shelter locations in Pinellas County. So there's one in Tarpon Springs, there's another in Clearwater, there are two in Pinellas Park, and there are 3 in St. Pete.
In Hillsborough County, 5 shelters are going to be opening at 6 right now. We are waiting to hear whether the shelters will also be open tomorrow night. If they are, it would be the longest stretch on record, with the shelters being open for 6 straight nights. 10 Tampa Bay Chief Meteorologist Bobby Deskins joins us. Bobby, it's going to be chilly tonight, but a nice warm-up on the way.
It really is. I don't remember a time where it was this cold for this long. Yeah. I mean, we've had colder temperatures here, but it usually lasts about a day and a half to 2 days, and then it warms right back up pretty quickly. There's such a large, cold air mass that was able to produce all that snow in the panhandle of Florida and over in New Orleans, Texas. We just kind of got caught up in the cold side of it. All right, let's get you outside right now and get you to the sunshine. Oh, so nice to finally see it back. Temperatures, though, they rebounded, but just barely. I mean, some folks just barely got out of 50 degrees today. We got 55 here in Tampa, but that's one of the warmer spots, and these numbers are coming down, and they're going to come down pretty quickly tonight. From 7 p.m. Tuesday, the temperature just after that dropped below 50 degrees at Tampa. It did not get to 50 until 12 o'clock today. In fact, it was just after 12 o'clock. That's 65 hours below 50 degrees. The average high temperature is 71. The average low is 53. We couldn't even get to the average low for almost 3 days. That's a stretch of cold weather. 50 now in Crystal River, 52 in Manatee, 55 in Lakeland and Winter Haven. Water temperature now is about 56 degrees. This will be slow to come back up, but remember, that's going to keep it cool out there on the water. That's why they're saying pack some blankets for the boat if you are taking that out. Now we're going to talk about the winds. Not a lot of wind right now, but it has been gusty at times. Look at 25-mile-per-hour gusts in St. Pete, 20 in Venice, and it's going to turn more to the northeast. So coming around from Pinellas over into the north part of the bay there, you get around the south end of MacDill, you get a little bit of shelter, but I'll tell you what, crossing the bay from Pinellas over to MacDill is going to be bumpy, and then coming around MacDill up towards the bay is going to be bumpy. Here's the satellite and radar right now. These clouds are mid and high level clouds. They'll be in and out of here quickly over the next few hours. And I say that because there's nothing but clear skies behind them, and that'll allow us to actually get even colder tonight because of radiational cooling, right? So here's the forecast for tonight. We have that weather impact alert starting at 2 a.m. when we get down into the 30s. 37 is where we woke up this morning. I think we make about 35, 36 in Tampa tomorrow morning. That would be the coldest that we've gotten so far this season. And looking ahead, this is the coldest we're going to be through the month and through the first half of February likely. So this could be one of the coldest that we get all season long. 30 in Crystal River tomorrow morning, 31 in Brooksville, 38 in Bradenton. Sarasota, we're going to get down to 37 tomorrow morning. As a result, the light blue here is a cold weather advisory. Just a heads up, hey, it's much colder than what it normally should be. You see this hole right here? That's actually a freeze warning for Pasco, Hernando, and Citrus. I would watch it if you're in northern Hillsborough County as well. It's going to be close. Now, weather impact through 10 a.m. on Saturday. Obviously, it's the freeze warning to the north. Just remember the morning hours will be very cold, and that's overnight tonight. So bring those pets in if you can, and don't forget to cover up those sensitive plants if you need to. Get the covers off of them early because look at this, 9 a.m., still cold, low 40s, but getting into the 50s and low 60s by the afternoon. Thank goodness. You know, when you have my job, there's a lot of pressure that it doesn't rain, and nothing I can do about it, obviously, but lovely forecast for Gasparilla. 62 this year. Again, last year we had 81, and that was one of our warmer ones that we've seen. I think it was 2022, we had 55 for a high. All right, now, here's the boating forecast. Northeast winds, 20 knots in the morning, but they do come down to around 10 knots. We got exercise caution and choppy on the bay. So if you're anywhere over here in Pinellas, when you cross over here to get south of MacDill, it's bumpy here, and then when you get around the corner here, yeah, it's going to be really bumpy until you get well north of Beer Can Island. It should get better. The good news is, watch this. This is 11 a.m. Wind's already starting to come down. Watch the clock out through the afternoon, really coming down here on the bay. You're heading off, you have a little bit of a tailwind, if you will, if you're coming out of the bay in the evening hours. Here's the good news. See the cold air that's in place over us now? It lifts, we warm, and we are done with this cold. Close to 70 by Sunday. Look at next week. That is amazing. Lower to mid 70s all next week. Basically dry. Small rain chance with a weak front on Friday of next week.
And remember, you can stream our weather radar and track the temperatures whenever you want live on your TV with our 10 Tampa Bay Plus app. Right now, the Gasparilla Pirates are getting ready to invade Bayshore Boulevard. It's a tradition that they've been doing since 1904.
Yeah, but the festival's namesake, Jose Gaspar, has a story that dates back even further. Starting in the 1780s, and 10 Tampa Bay anchor Caitlin Lockerbie takes us through the history.
Tampa Bay has celebrated the life and legend of Jose Gaspar for more than 100 years with a large parade and festival known as the Gasparilla Pirate Fest. It's hard to know what's real about the life of Jose Gaspar. Experts seem to believe he was a Spanish Navy man who turned pirate to spite the government. True or not, the idea of Gaspar was enough to start Gasparilla in 1904. You Missed It crew of Gasparilla says it was an event to promote the city of Tampa. There was a secret plan to take Tampa in a mock pirate attack with costumed buccaneers on horseback. A couple of years later, the crew used a ship to capture the city, and the pirate vessels got bigger and more elaborate over the years. In modern times, the crew sailing the only fully rigged pirate ship in the world comes from the south end of Hillsborough Bay, followed by hundreds, if not thousands of boats to take over the city, kidnap the mayor, and demand the key.
Well, if only she turned over the key, then we wouldn't have this invasion, right?
I'm glad she kept it. I'm glad she kept it.
Yeah.
We do love the invasion. It's fun to play, and every year so many people look forward to it. We, of course, have everything that you need because there's a lot of stuff going on during tomorrow's schedule of events. We have all of that posted for you on the free 10 Tampa Bay app.
It's going to be fun. And it is pandemonium at the National Zoo in D.C. Next to Live, look at the nation's newest pair of pandas and how people are responding.
Hello, I'm Sarah Rosario. There are several updates you need to know if you plan on heading to Gasparilla this weekend. Let's bring you up to speed. For my drivers who are going to be headed out to the parades, there's not going to be very many driving options for you. Several closures are going in place. Starting at 8 p.m. tonight, we've got Bayshore Boulevard between Browrain and Platt Street closing, and then we've got a full list of closures on our website, 10tampabay.com. Here's a look at the pirate map right now. Pirate parade map is what I should call it. And all of Bayshore Boulevard is where this parade is going to be going, in portions of downtown Tampa as well. So as far as these road closures, City of Tampa giving us a full list of closures. Everything in red is a full closure. And then Saturday, the closures begin at 3 a.m. in the morning and they run up until 3:30 p.m. And then some roads will only be one way and others you'll be able to travel in both directions. Some of the best ways to get around it, though, if you want to navigate these closures or thinking, where can I park? Well, your best option is really just to ride share. Ride sharing is going to help you get to where you need to go. You don't even have to deal with any ticketing or any paid parking, things like that. Street parking and city parking garages, there's going to be event parking listed for $30 at some of these City of Tampa parking garages. And good news is that there are several free options for you as well. Tico Streetcar Line is a free one, and that runs from 8:30 in the morning until 2 a.m. And then also, Hillsborough Area Regional Transit is offering some bus shuttle services if you're going to be parking in Ybor City, which you'll have to pay to park in Ybor, but at least you'll be able to get over to the parade area for free. And just a reminder for you, alcohol coolers, those are not allowed, any illegal drugs on any Hillsborough Area Regional Transit Authority vehicles. All right, that's a look at your traffic for Gasparilla. Have fun, stay safe, plan ahead, and prepare to walk a lot. And if you're worried about where you have options to use the restroom, there are a lot of porta potties lined all along Bayshore and some of those side streets as well. I'm Sarah Rosario. That's your Gasparilla traffic.
Did you cut the cord?
But still want your local news for free?
It can happen. Just stream 10 Tampa Bay Plus.
And the best part? You can watch us live.
Or catch up with what's happening anytime you want. It's always the latest news, updated weather forecasts, and a whole lot more. You can even customize your favorites so you see what you want right away.
We think there's no better way to stay informed, prepared, and connected. Stream the free 10 Tampa Bay Plus app now.
Jeopardy is for everybody.
That's amazing. Oh, yeah.
With players just like you.
Paramedic, retired teacher, psychiatrist.
I'm a little bit competitive.
That's the spirit.
Watch their victories.
We have a giant killer.
And heartbreaks.
Oh, no.
The next super champion could be anyone.
It's almost like a superhero origin story.
It could be you.
Oh, wow.
It's all happening on Jeopardy.
Jeopardy weeknights at 7:30 right here on 10 Tampa Bay.
When the weather changes, you feel the impact. And you told us alerting you when the weather turns severe is the most important thing we can do. That's why 10 Tampa Bay is taking forecasting to the next level with Weather Impact Alert Days. So you'll know when to be alert, how the weather will impact your day, and how to keep your family safe.
Keeping you informed, prepared, and connected with Weather Impact Alert on 10 Tampa Bay and 10 Tampa Bay Plus.
Let's take a live look right now at the National Zoo in Washington, D.C., where right now the nation's newest pandas are making their public debut. One is sleeping, one is eating bamboo, one has apparently had bamboo, is now tired, but they're doing real well, we're told, settling in very nicely. And the zoo's newest additions are also bringing out big crowds, excited to catch a glimpse of these two, huh?
This was the first day that you could see them on public display. Caitlin Huey Burns takes you to the giant panda exhibit and shares reactions from those who got to see Bao Li and Qing Bao for the first time.
It's pandemonium at the National Zoo in Washington. The gates swung open and crowds rushed in for a glimpse of 3-year-old giant pandas Bao Li and Qing Bao on public display for the first time Friday. This family made the trip from Cleveland, Ohio.
It's just fantastic to be able to experience this as a family.
The giant pandas arrived special delivery back in October and took a few months to settle in. Zoo officials say the pandas have adapted well to their new home.
It's fun to get to know them, what they like, what they don't like. Qing Bao loves to climb trees, so her happy place, she'll just climb to the top of a tree and be happy up there.
The pandas are more than just cute. They're part of a conservation program, a historic partnership between the U.S. and China going back half a century. The Panda House at the National Zoo has been empty for more than a year after a previous panda agreement expired. But a new deal brings these furry friends back for at least the next decade.
These animals don't come cheap. The zoo pays its Chinese counterparts $1 million a year, but they figure they make that up in revenue inside the park with so many new visitors coming, and that all goes to panda conservation efforts.
What do you like about them?
I like their bamboo.
If you can't make the trip to see the pandas in person, the Smithsonian's got you covered. The zoo relaunched the giant panda cam if you need a little pick-me-up during the day.
I just love how roly-poly and pudgy they are and how they walk all funny. Everything about them is just the cutest.
A little cuteness goes a long way. Caitlin Huey Burns, CBS News, Washington.
They are beautiful, aren't they?
They are. You know, that panda exhibit, it has been my favorite exhibit since I was little.
I'm sure.
You know, going and visiting. Now, of course, I also am a little obsessed with the pandas, and here's how you can tell the difference if you're watching on the giant panda cam. So the male, Bao Li, he has a much larger stripe on his back, right? So it's larger. And then Qing Bao's kind of pinches in. Back out. So that is how you can tell the difference between the two.
Needs, we've got it right here.
There are other ways as well, but we'll leave it with that.
Yeah, they are fun. They're fun to watch, though, and they don't come cheap. But as they mentioned, you know, they sort of pay off in the long run. Certainly for the crowd pleaser as well.
Preparing for the invasion, what police say you should know ahead of tomorrow's parade.
Everyone who comes into this clinic is a mystery. Solve a mystery, save a life.
Somebody help!
Our patients don't need doctors. Our patients need detectives.
He may be reckless,
This is not an approved procedure.
but he's also a genius. Who are you?
Watson premieres CBS Sunday, January 26th after the AFC Championship and streaming on Paramount+.
Morning news you can watch live or anytime.
With 10 Tampa Bay Plus.
With breaking news from overnight, weather to plan your day.
Make sure that you have a way to get alerts. I'm going to continue to follow these storms and much more exclusive content you can only find here.
But when life happens and takes you away from the story,
10 Tampa Bay Plus has you covered.
keeping you informed, prepared, and connected when you have time to catch up.
Watch 10 Tampa Bay live weekday mornings from 5 to 7.
Or on your time with 10 Tampa Bay Plus.
And it's like a movie script. It's family rivalry, betrayal, and murder.
They cover America's most fascinating true crime stories.
One way or another, that's an execution.
Absolutely.
Every case.
Who would want to hurt him?
Every clue.
This is dynamite for an investigator.
Every mystery that keeps you guessing until the very end.
Does everyone's jaws drop?
Dateline, 5 times a week.
Watch weekdays at 4 on 10 Tampa Bay. Keeping you informed, prepared, and connected. You're watching 10 Tampa Bay.
Crews found hundreds of graves on his property. Now a local business owner speaks out amid a lawsuit. 10 Investigates has the exclusive.
The Gasparilla Parade turns 121 years old this year. You're watching 10 Tampa Bay Plus. I'm Courtney Robinson.
And I'm Dave Wagner. Looking ahead to bitter temperatures overnight. And Chief Meteorologist Bobby Deskins tracking the cold for us. Bobby, it's going to be really cold tonight. One more night of this.
I think this is the coldest night. To be honest with you, we made 37 this morning. I think we make 36 tomorrow morning. So just another night of this. But then that's it. We'll be in the 40s on Sunday morning, and look, 70s are coming back for highs. Tomorrow, you'll notice a big difference. Most of us made the lower to mid 50s today for highs, and we just barely got there. But by 11 o'clock tomorrow morning, after starting in the 30s, we'll be into the low 50s, and then by parade time, which is at 2 o'clock right in here, I think we'll be about 60 at parade time, and during that parade, we'll make about 62 degrees. So it's going to feel real good out there. I mean, that's chilly for us. 71's the average high. Not tomorrow, almost 10 degrees below it, but it's going to feel a lot better than what it has. Nice out there right now, lots of blue skies, still chilly though, low to mid 50s. Ironically, those clear skies are the reason why I think we'll get a little bit colder for tonight. These temperatures now in the low to mid 50s will drop very quickly, so grab a jacket if you're headed out this evening. We do have a little bit of a breeze, but with those clearing skies, we get what's called good radiational cooling. And that will get those temperatures back down. So we have a weather impact alert for tonight, really after 2 a.m. That's when the temperatures will get the coldest. We actually have a cold weather advisory from the Weather Service as well from 2 a.m. through 10 a.m. 30s just to get the day started, but it's going to be nice. And 70, it's possible by Sunday. And I'll talk about that coming up.
All right, keep in mind you can always stream our 10 Tampa Bay weather radar and track those Gasparilla temperatures ahead of the festivities live on your TV with our 10 Tampa Bay Plus app. For those of you headed to Gasparilla tomorrow, there are 3 things the TPD wants you to remember. Those going with a group should pick a designated meeting place in case you get separated. Drivers, remember to text your parking location to yourself. And for people bringing your child, maybe your grandchild, take a picture the day of. If they get lost, you can send that photo right to police.
For years, we've been following the search for erased African-American cemeteries across the Tampa Bay area. And this evening, a Clearwater business owner is speaking out for the first time after filing a lawsuit over hundreds of graves archaeologists found on their property.
10 Investigates Emerald Morrow sits down with community members who say they are hurting because the city has failed to properly address this grave dilemma.
It just feels like any progress has largely stalled over the last couple of years.
A grave discovery, shaking the conscience of Clearwater.
It makes you want to just ask questions why.
In the old Clearwater Heights community, 328 graves from the St. Matthew's Baptist Church Cemetery found a few years back under the Frank Crum business property and along Missouri Avenue.
Several times the graveyard was built on top of, and somebody had to know.
Developers destroyed this historic black cemetery after mounting property taxes forced the church to sell the sacred site back in the 1950s.
There was a promise made that with the sale of the property that these remains would be removed and to an appropriate or another cemetery. That never happened.
Now, Frank Crum president Matt Crum is speaking for the first time since suing the Clearwater Community Redevelopment Agency over this 1998 development agreement.
The city put in that agreement, yes, we guarantee and warranty that all the remains that were here had been removed. We bought this property and we had no idea.
Do you blame the city for this?
At this point, I do. The city owned this property at one point. There's a development agreement that says that they should move it, and frankly, even if there wasn't, I personally think that it's the responsibility of local government to step in when your citizens, an issue like this has happened.
A city spokesperson said there's no comment on pending litigation and that the CRA is a separate legal entity.
I didn't really learn this, but this is another example of our history is messier than we'd like it to be at times. And I've learned that, unfortunately, people and organizations and institutions don't always do the right thing when there are historical wrongs, and that's disappointing.
Emerald Morrow, 10 Investigates.
And you can find all of Emerald's coverage on erased and destroyed black cemeteries right now on 10tampabay.com/erased.
Another hostage release is set for this weekend, with Hamas announcing it will free 4 female Israeli soldiers taken in the October 7th attacks. The soldiers are 19 and 20 years old. In exchange, Israel will release 200 Palestinian detainees. Officials say the deal is fragile but still holding. If the hostage swap does happen, 89 hostages will still be held by Hamas in Gaza, including 7 Americans. It's believed that only 3 are still alive.
President Trump wrapping up his first week in office with a trip to North Carolina and California to visit communities still reeling from recent disasters. After the president spoke in Nashville about what he described as a disastrous response by FEMA, he announced he's considering getting rid of FEMA altogether. Trump said he'd rather see states handle their own disaster response. The president says FEMA's role should just be to give states the money to be able to respond. Meanwhile, the Senate is set to vote on Pete Hegseth as the next defense secretary. That final vote is expected today. Hegseth cleared yesterday's procedural vote despite opposition from Democrats and 2 Republicans.
The Justice Department says it will appeal a ruling that blocks President Trump's executive order ending birthright citizenship. A federal judge handed down that ruling yesterday, calling it blatantly unconstitutional. Arizona, Illinois, Oregon, and Washington asked for a temporary hold. It's one of 5 lawsuits filed by 22 attorneys general challenging the order. They argue it violates the 14th Amendment of the U.S. Constitution.
And just yesterday, the president ordered the release of classified documents about the assassinations of President John F. Kennedy, Senator Robert F. Kennedy, and Dr. Martin Luther King Jr. The executive order gives federal officials 15 days to plan the release of JFK's records, 45 days for the other 2 cases. The president had promised during his campaign to make the last batches of these documents public. Dr. King and Robert F. Kennedy were assassinated within 2 months of each other. In 1968, John F. Kennedy was fatally shot in downtown Dallas in 1963.
Today, we're going to send to President Trump's desk his very first bill to sign into law, the Laken-Riley Act.
Right now, an immigration-related bill is awaiting President Trump's signature. The Laken-Riley bill will be the first the president signs into law this term. The act expands mandatory detention to include non-citizens convicted of or charged with theft-related crimes. It's named in honor of Laken-Riley. The 22-year-old Georgia nursing student was murdered last year by an undocumented Venezuelan immigrant.
A political stalemate in just minutes. Why state leaders aren't seeing eye to eye ahead of a special session.
Here are the stars of our show.
I am your host, Ryan Seacrest.
The Wheel You Love is back.
Yes! Let's have some fun.
This season will truly be unlike any other.
This has never happened before on Wheel of Fortune.
With bigger trips.
Yeah, baby.
Bigger prizes.
I'd love to take you backstage to the iHeartRadio Music Festival.
And bigger surprises.
There it is.
What a great show!
Let's do it again tomorrow.
Wheel, weeknights at 7 on 10 Tampa Bay.
Morning news you can watch live or anytime.
With 10 Tampa Bay Plus.
With breaking news from overnight, weather to plan your day.
Make sure that you have a way to get alerts. I'm going to continue to follow these storms
and much more exclusive content you can only find here.
But when life happens and takes you away from the story,
10 Tampa Bay Plus has you covered.
Keeping you informed, prepared, and connected when you have time to catch up.
Watch 10 Tampa Bay live weekday mornings from 5 to 7.
Or on your time with 10 Tampa Bay Plus.
When the weather changes, you feel the impact. And you told us alerting you when the weather turns severe is the most important thing we can do. That's why 10 Tampa Bay is taking forecasting to the next level with Weather Impact Alert Days. So you'll know when to be alert, how the weather will impact your day, and how to keep your family safe.
Keeping you informed, prepared, and connected with Weather Impact Alert on 10 Tampa Bay and 10 Tampa Bay Plus.
In just a few days, state lawmakers will officially convene for a special session in Tallahassee. What happens after that is still unclear.
10 Tampa Bay's Aaron Parsegian has a look at the governor's call and the pushback he's facing from Capitol leaders.
I said the other day, it's like a junkyard dog.
Governor Ron DeSantis applying a full court press, holding press conferences, roundtables, and even urging local Republicans to contact their lawmakers as he works to get swift action during a special session next week, wanting the state to get on board with President Trump's crackdown on illegal immigration.
These issues, the immigration and the election integrity, I'm not letting go. I'm not just going to wait 6 months for something to eventually stick.
Well, his call has been met with support from Capitol allies.
I think this is something we want to get ahead of.
Those in control, Republican Senate President Ben Alberton and House Speaker Danny Perez, are supportive of the policies, but against a special session, acknowledging in a memo that it's the governor's right to call them back, but adding it's up to them to determine when and what legislation is considered.
The Senate President and the Speaker of the House are actually flexing their muscles.
And new tonight is this memo saying they will convene for session Monday morning. What happens from there is still unclear. So far, no bills have been filed for consideration.
They may have to call back the session, but they can dismiss the session immediately. So they have the power to end the session at any time they want to end it.
Gavel in, gavel out is a possibility, but now just days away, it's not one the governor thinks will happen.
People would have to go on the record saying they think that they should gavel out and ignore this. And so that would be very, very hazardous politically, I think, for these members to do.
Aaron Parsegian, 10 Tampa Bay.
And Aaron will be at the Capitol on Monday to follow new developments after lawmakers convene. To see the proposals the governor is pitching right now, head to our free 10 Tampa Bay app.
Dozens of executive orders signed by President Trump. Ahead, our verified team debunks claims that one of those gets rid of a cap on a life-saving treatment. Did you cut the cord?
But still want your local news for free?
It can happen. Just stream 10 Tampa Bay Plus.
And the best part? You can watch us live.
Or catch up with what's happening anytime you want. It's always the latest news, updated weather forecasts, and a whole lot more. You can even customize your favorites so you see what you want right away.
We think there's no better way to stay informed, prepared, and connected. Stream the free 10 Tampa Bay Plus app now.
And it's like a movie script. It's family rivalry, betrayal, and murder.
They cover America's most fascinating true crime stories.
One way or another, that's an execution.
Absolutely.
Every case.
Who would want to hurt him?
Every clue.
This is dynamite for an investigator.
Every mystery that keeps you guessing until the very end.
Does everyone's jaws drop?
Dateline, 5 times a week.
Watch weekdays at 4 on 10 Tampa Bay.
Morning news you can watch live or anytime.
With 10 Tampa Bay Plus.
With breaking news from overnight, weather to plan your day.
Make sure that you have a way to get alerts. I'm going to continue to follow these storms.
And much more exclusive content you can only find here.
But when life happens and takes you away from the story,
10 Tampa Bay Plus has you covered.
keeping you informed, prepared, and connected when you have time to catch up.
Watch 10 Tampa Bay live weekday mornings from 5 to 7.
Or on your time with 10 Tampa Bay Plus.
Fitbit will pay $12 million in civil penalties for its recalled smartwatches.
This comes 5 years after dozens of people were burned by the watches. The Consumer Product Safety Commission says the company's Ionic watches had a defect that caused them to overheat, and Fitbit knew about it. The CPSC claims Fitbit did not immediately report the defect. The company discontinued that product in 2020.
A safety recall this evening. Some Ford vehicles may unexpectedly stop while in use. The automaker is recalling nearly 300,000 Broncos and Mavericks due to a power problem that can stop or fail to start your car. The recall affects certain cars made from 2021 to 2023. The National Highway Traffic Safety Administration says the problem is related to the battery made during those years. So far, no reports of accidents, fires, or injuries.
Spirit Airlines is raising the bar on passenger attire. The budget carrier has updated its dress code policy. The updates specifically address lewd clothing and tattoos and obscene, offensive, or revealing attire. This change follows an incident where 2 women were kicked off of a Spirit flight for wearing crop tops.
Well,
Chief Meteorologist Bobby Deskins
there's
joins
no fun
us
in
now.
that.
Bobby, crop top weather is not here.
Not yet, but it will be. Next week will be. We're getting back to the mid-70s. Look, baby steps, right? We brought the sunshine back today, finally, so that's the good news. Still chilly out there, lower to mid-50s, even though some palms blowing in a little bit of a breeze with sunshine. Down to the 30s. Tonight will actually be the coldest night that we've seen so far, at least for Tampa at 36. We were 37 this morning. But then as we warm things up tomorrow, we'll gradually warm things up over the next several days, too. 54 in Tarpon Springs, 49 in Trinity and Port Richey, 53 in Lutz, 55 in Zephyr Hills and MacDill Air Force Base, 54 at Ruskin. Lakeland checking in with 55 degrees right now. Sarasota, I mean, it's nice at 55, but we're going to be cold tonight. Still in the upper 30s to low 40s. I think upper 30s in Sarasota. That's saying something. We still have the northerly winds. They'll go a little more northeast, but remember, that's coming in where that cold air mass is. The air mass is evolving. It's changing and warming just a little bit, but it's still cold enough. And we have clear skies tonight. That's the big difference, that we're going to start to clear things out and get radiational cooling going. That's when the heating, or what little we did have, radiates back out in space because it doesn't have clouds as a blanket. We've had a lot of clouds lately. But that's going to happen tonight. This low pressure is finally moving away. This thing was pesky. That's one of the reasons why we saw all the clouds yesterday, but that's why we've cleared out as it's moving away. So this evening looks nice. After midnight, 2 a.m., we're going to start with our cold weather advisory. So we have a weather impact alert for that. That's when we drop down into the 30s. That's just Tampa. North and east of town, you will be in the 30s by 11 o'clock for most locations. These are the wake-up temps. 33 in Land O'Lakes, 32 in Dade City. Look at the below freezing for most of Hernando, Citrus County. 40 in St. Pete, but 36 in Tampa and 35 in Apollo Beach tomorrow morning. That is cold. 34 in Lakeland, 37 in Venice. So we have a cold weather advisory in the light blue for that. This hole that you see here, that's where we have freeze warnings. All right, Pasco, Hernando, and Citrus, and this goes all the way up to the US 19 corridor. So if you live out there and you've got sensitive plants that you need to cover up or bring in, tonight's the night to do that. That goes through about 10 in the morning, although once we get about 8, 9 o'clock, the sun will be up and we'll get those numbers up. And that freeze warning north, I don't suspect that we'll have one Saturday night. That's the good news. We'll be chilly in the 30s up north, but not below freezing. So tomorrow we'll finally get rid of it. We'll get up into the low 60s for daytime highs. So Gasparilla looks good, just a really cold start, but sunshine all the way through. Northeast winds a little more east-northeast, but it's going to be a little bumpy in the morning. This is first thing in the morning, okay? We'll go out through about 11. Notice the wind drops a little bit. So if you get in the boat, you want to go over, I'd wait till about 11 or 12 if you're coming from Pinellas, because it's going to be bumpy when you get just off of well, before you get to McDill, right? And when you're coming around the corner of McDill, you're going to run into that wind again. But once you're up into the north part of the bay, nice. Northeast wind is protected. Obviously, that part of the bay, things look good. Just be careful in the morning. Now, we do warm things up. There goes the cold air. It's lifting up. Not only do we warm things up on Sunday, which we'll get close to 70 by Sunday afternoon, but look at next week. Basically dry, sunshine, mix of sun and clouds by the middle of the week, and temperatures low to mid 70s. Enjoy that stretch of weather.
We will. All right. President Trump signed a slew of executive orders this week. Some say one of Trump's executive orders repealed the Biden-era $35 monthly cap on insulin. Ariane Daytil with our National Verified team breaks it down for us.
Millions of Americans have diabetes, and many of them need insulin to survive. But the price of the medication in the United States has historically been expensive for many. Amid a slew of executive orders signed by President Trump on the first day of his second term in office, people on social media claimed he ended the $35 cap on insulin prices. But is that true? Let's verify using these sources. On January 20th, President Trump signed executive orders ending some Biden directives that impact healthcare, including one intended to experiment with lowering prescription drug costs for people on Medicare and Medicaid. But those executive orders did not end the $35 monthly cap on insulin. Medicare's $35 insulin price cap was signed into law through the Inflation Reduction Act, which means it would take another law passed by Congress to change or get rid of the price cap. Private drug manufacturers have also capped the cost of their insulin. In 2023, Eli Lilly capped out-of-pocket costs for its insulin at $35 at participating pharmacies for people with commercial insurance. It also created a savings card for people without insurance to use to get its insulin for $35 a month. Since Eli Lilly is a private drug manufacturer, Trump would not be able to remove the company's voluntary price caps through an executive order. Nor would he likely want to, since he was responsible for instituting the $35 copay cap for some Medicare patients in 2020. With your Verify, I'm Ariane Daytil.
And if you see something you'd like us to verify, you can email your questions to us, verify@10tampabay.com, or you can text us 727-577-8522.
Scammers looking to take your hard-earned cash. The utility scam authorities are asking you to look out for, plus tips to avoid it.
Jeopardy is for everybody.
That's amazing. Oh, yeah.
With players just like you.
paramedic, a retired teacher, a psychiatrist.
I'm a little bit competitive.
That's the spirit.
Watch their victories.
We have a giant killer.
And heartbreaks.
Oh no!
The next super champion could be anyone.
It's almost like a superhero origin story.
It could be you.
Oh wow.
It's all happening on Jeopardy!
Jeopardy weeknights at 7:30, right here on 10 Tampa Bay. Weather impacts your life every day. I'm 10 Tampa Bay Chief Meteorologist Bobby Deskins. You can find out about any change in the weather with our 10 Tampa Bay Plus app. Just stream for the latest forecast, any weather impact alert, updated tropics forecast, and take a live look at the radar. Anytime you want, and it's free. It's just one more way we're helping you stay informed, prepared, and connected. Stream 10 Tampa Bay Plus.
Here are the stars of our show.
I am your host, Ryan Seacrest.
The wheel you love is back.
Yes! Let's have some fun.
This season will truly be unlike any other.
This has never happened before on Wheel of Fortune.
With bigger trips.
Yeah, baby.
Bigger prizes.
I'd love to take you backstage to the iHeartRadio Music Festival.
And bigger surprises.
There it is.
What a great show!
Let's do it again tomorrow.
Wheel, weeknights at 7 on 10 Tampa Bay.
Well, some are calling it a glimpse of the future.
Yeah, Meta just rolled out a demonstration of its Orion augmented reality glasses. This was at the World Economic Forum in Switzerland. The wearable tech uses holographic projection, allowing users to see graphics in their field of view. The glasses have eye tracking tech that kind of acts like a mouse or a cursor, and a wristband to read movement signals from the brain.
You're looking at the physical world, and we're overlaying digital content on top of it. It allows for things like having a virtual TV on the wall, walking down the street and having arrows overlaid on the street where you're supposed to make a turn instead of having to look at a screen.
Meta chief Mark Zuckerberg has suggested in the future smart glasses will replace smartphones as the main mode of communication.
Watching your back this evening, con artists are trying to take advantage of you during the cold winter months, and Josh Sidorowicz breaks down the last scam targeting your utility bills.
Dan Deming said he was suspicious when he received a call from someone claiming to be from his power company.
A gentleman on the other end told me that my service was about to be shut off.
But the IT software specialist started to doubt himself and what he knew about scams.
I mean, I was pretty conflicted because I know that they try to instill this sense of urgency. Your account's going to be shut off. You're going to lose your electricity to, try and get you to break out the pocketbook or whatever. But on the other hand, the guy was very well spoken, very smooth talker, and he had all this information about me.
Information including his address and his account number.
He also mentioned that my account number had recently changed, and he had that earlier account number as well.
We do track utility scams because it is such a popular scam.
Melanie McGovern with the Better Business Bureau says scam artists also target businesses and threaten to shut off the electricity. And they often want an untraceable form of payment like Bitcoin or a prepaid card.
And what we know is once that money is gone, it's gone. So if that is the method of payment they're asking for, that's a definite red flag that it is a scam. If you do get one of these calls, just hang up and call your utility company directly.
That's what Deming did, and the power company confirmed he was not facing shutoff.
That was kind of the one thing that had been drilled into me that luckily I stuck to that day.
And experts also warn that scammers can even spoof your caller ID to make it look like that call is coming from your utility company. I'm Josh Sidorowicz, CBS News, Philadelphia.
And keep in mind, victims of scams should report any suspicious activity to law enforcement.
But we are not the only ones who feel the chill in the air. Sea turtles along our coast have been found dehydrated and impacted by the cold. Drew Cosgray from our sister station in Jacksonville shows you what Beach Patrol is doing to help.
It's day 3 at the UF Whitney Laboratory Sea Turtle Hospital in Flagler County. Some people coming into work at 7 Thursday evening until almost 2 a.m. Friday morning. Back at it again today.
Basic vitamins for this animal, so it's kind of like giving it a little bit of Gatorade to kind of boost up and hydrate.
Leah Adelman has been caring for these green sea turtles way past her typical 9 to 5 shift.
Overall, we're at the mercy of the animals. We're on call 24/7, 7 days a week.
This coming after green sea turtles become cold stunned. They've washed up on our beaches during the cold snap, and that causes their body temperatures to drop, sometimes leading to death if a beachgoer does not report the green sea turtle they happen to come across. Catherine Eastman, the Sea Turtle Program Manager at the Sea Hospital, explains what she has been seeing over the course of this cold front.
When the water gets too cold, they just sort of slow down and float and wash in. So they can't control them. So their metabolism slows down. They're kind of in a almost hibernating, but not in a good way, state. So then they just wash in. And you give a sunny day like this, people out on the beach, even though it's like 47 degrees right now, they'll find all these turtles washing in. And so that's kind of how the process starts. They're dropping off more turtles.
Here you see Anastasia State Park patrol officers bringing in an additional 7 turtles to the Sea Hospital. Eastman saying they are getting 25 sea turtles a day from the beaches.
And it's because of those numbers, and as you can see, the workers are having to take the turtles out of this building that you see beside me and put them into these bins and move them to a completely different building because they simply just don't have the space for all the turtles that are coming in.
A grueling last 3 days trying to bring these turtles' body temperatures back up. Adelman says it is worth it for the turtles being anywhere from 3 to 5 years old, as this is the beginning of a long recovery.
As these animals are so young, they have so much life ahead of them that if we can get them through this part or this stage, they're gonna have some form of learning that hopefully they won't have to restrand in the future.
The Sea Hospital says after their part is done in getting the turtles back to a healthy body temperature, they will be sent to other hospitals to continue their recovery.
Yeah, and keep in mind, if you ever see a turtle washed up or in distress, call the Florida Fish and Wildlife Conservation Commission hotline.
Coming up next at 6, our Verified team looks into strange text messages claiming to be from SunPass pressing you to pay up. How to know when it's real and when it's fake.
Did you cut the cord?
But still want your local news for free?
It can happen. Just stream 10 Tampa Bay Plus.
And the best part? You can watch us live.
Or catch up with what's happening anytime you want. It's always the latest news, updated weather forecasts, and a whole lot more. You can even customize your favorites so you see what you want right away.
We think there's no better way to stay informed, prepared, and connected. Stream the free 10 Tampa Bay Plus app now.
Jeopardy is for everybody.
That's amazing. Oh, yeah.
With players just like you.
Paramedic, retired teacher, psychiatrist.
I'm a little bit competitive.
That's the spirit.
Watch their victories.
We have a giant killer.
And heartbreaks.
Oh, no.
The next super champion could be anyone.
It's almost like a superhero origin story.
It could be you.
Oh, wow.
It's all happening on Jeopardy.
Jeopardy weeknights at 7:30, right here on 10 Tampa Bay.
When the weather changes, you feel the impact. And you told us alerting you when the weather turns severe is the most important thing we can do. That's why 10 Tampa Bay is taking forecasting to the next level with Weather Impact Alert Days. So you'll know when to be alert, how the weather will impact your day, and how to keep your family safe.
Keeping you informed, prepared, and connected with Weather Impact Alert on 10 Tampa Bay and 10 Tampa Bay Plus.
Now live on 10 Tampa Bay, from what the weather will bring to what you can expect along Bayshore. We have team coverage as you prepare for Gasparilla.
Plus, a new program to help local veterans build their businesses, what it will offer, and how you can apply.
And a scam warning for anyone with a SunPass account. The text message you'll want to watch for.
Keeping you informed, prepared, and connected. You're watching 10 Tampa Bay.
And we start this evening with a weather impact alert as you prepare for the weekend and for Gasparilla. This is 10 Tampa Bay at 6. I'm Courtney Robinson.
And I'm Dave Wagner. It's going to be a big weekend here in Tampa as Pirates invade tomorrow. You're taking a live look at Bayshore Boulevard. It's going to be really busy tomorrow where all that action will go down. You can see food trucks already set up there.
So from what to expect when you're out at the parade to plans for those on the water, our crews have you covered. First, let's send it over to Chief Meteorologist Bobby Deskins with a look at those chilly temperatures.
Yeah, downright cold. I mean, 37 this morning will actually end up going to around 36 early tomorrow morning. So technically tomorrow morning will be the coldest of this stretch, which will actually be the coldest of this season so far, at least for Tampa at 36. But tomorrow afternoon is when we finally start to warm things up. We made 50s today, which we haven't done. But tomorrow, after a cold start by 11 o'clock, we're basically in the low 50s, 60 by about 2 o'clock as the parade kicks off, and we'll make it to about 62 for a daytime high for tomorrow. So yes, we've timed it. It's going to be beautiful with lots of sunshine. There is a gorgeous sunset from downtown St. Pete right now. Just look at that. Those are just a few high clouds, and they'll be in and out of here over the next couple of hours. 51 degrees right now. Air temps generally in the low to mid 50s, but we have some 40s showing up now, 49 in Brooksville, and we are going down quickly through the 40s for this evening. So Friday night plans, bring a jacket. Again, clear skies, no more rain, no more mist, none of that stuff. But that clear skies means we don't have a blanket of clouds to keep us warmer, and so those temperatures will drop off. There is our weather impact alert. After 2 a.m., it will really start to get cold into the mid-30s, and then we will warm things up. Now, freezing temperatures, Pasco, Hernando, and Citrus. I'll talk about that, and I'll talk about that warm-up that's coming in my full forecast.
Well, it's going to be chilly for the landlubbers for tomorrow's Gasparilla Parade. It's going to feel even colder for the thousands of people participating in the pirate ship invasion.
And that has Tampa Police Marine Unit taking measures to keep themselves very warm. And they have some advice for those heading out on the water.
Yeah, 10 Tampa Bay's Eric Glasser live in downtown Tampa tonight with more on this. Eric?
Hi, guys. Yeah, and the temperature is already starting to drop out here very quickly. I feel like it's dropped like 10 degrees in the last 30 minutes, but Bobby will have more on that. The good news, as he mentioned, is that by tomorrow afternoon, it's likely that we're going to see a little bit of a warm-up, and that'll be really good for the people out here on Bayshore who are watching the parade. But for the folks that are participating in the flotilla, the invasion tomorrow morning, well, it is going to be very cold. The good news, again, according to TPD and the Marine Unit, who is kind enough to have us aboard for a few minutes today, is that they are doing all they can to prepare, and they'd like other people to do the same. They will be out there with at least 100 first responder boats for this year's Gasparilla, and they are not immune to the cold temperatures. They told us they are going to be bundling up. They recommend others do the same. Even the dive team, I'm told, is going to be wearing some warmer gear this year if they need it, and they suggest that anyone participating in the invasion plan ahead. It is going to feel about 10 degrees colder on the water. So in addition to safety equipment and a designated sober boat operator, they want people to be prepared for that. And please, they say, stay out of the water.
Just like anybody else, we layer up. We try to keep ourselves as warm as possible. It is the greatest job in the department, I believe. However, on cold days, we're extremely cold, and on hot days, we get hot too. But the biggest thing is to stay out of the water. Hypothermia can set in very, very quickly if you go in the water.
Officials say that in years past, there have been people that have been known to jump into the water for beads. Don't do that. In addition to the cold, they say, there are lots of boat propellers out there, so you just don't want to do that. It's a dangerous situation all around. They're also asking anybody who does venture out onto the water to keep their boats moving at idle speed only. In fact, this year the Coast Guard has got a rule in place that says that if you're not a motorized vessel, that is a kayak or a canoe or anything else, that's not going to be allowed. And jet skis are not going to be allowed during this year's Gasparilla either. They say also that once that the pirate ship is safely at the dock, they're going to start transitioning, if you will, from a safety standpoint to an operation that's going to concentrate on people BUI, boating under the influence. And that enforcement, they say, is going to continue on into the early evening, so be warned. Reporting live along Bayshore Boulevard in South Tampa, Eric Glasser, 10 Tampa Bay.
All right, note to self, won't be jumping in the water this year. While Eric's looking at what's happening on the water, Hannah Deneen is looking at the impacts on the land.
Yeah, every year this event brings a lot of loot to Tampa, and Hannah, people are already flooding the area tonight.
Courtney, already seeing a lot of pirates stalking around town this evening. Visit Tampa Bay estimates 300,000 people will come out tomorrow for the Gasparilla Parade and surrounding festivities, and of course bringing with them a lot of added business for the local businesses here. Now, we spoke not too long ago with the owner of Jackson's Bistro Bar, which overlooks the invasion. He says the Gasparilla business will top a regular Saturday by 400%. Moreover, their cabana spaces, which sell for thousands, have been sold out for weeks. The South Tampa Chamber of Commerce says the impact of this uniquely Tampa event is especially important this year.
Great feedback from local retailers after coming through a holiday season post-hurricane that may have looked a little bit different than past years. The Gasparilla season has been a great start to the year and a great economic boost for them.
The chamber says a lot of businesses will be leaning into the Gasparilla spirit to get the added boost, from specialty pirate drinks and dishes to custom Gasparilla shirts. Now, years ago, parade organizers estimated that the economic impact of Gasparilla on surrounding economies was $40 million. We checked in with them today. They say, unfortunately, it's an outdated statistic that they don't have an update for, but they did share with us in a statement tonight. It's clear visitors are booking hotel rooms, dining in local restaurants, and shopping with local retailers. Live in Tampa, Hannah Deneen, 10 Tampa Bay.
Hannah, thank you. And you can find the full schedule of Gasparilla events, tips for parking, and road closures right now on our free 10 Tampa Bay app.
Well, a new program at State College of Florida is launching to help military veterans transition to civilian life, and they need more local veterans to apply.
As 10 Tampa Bay's Aduria Chumba reports, the program offers a crash course in entrepreneurship, complete with a reality show style pitch competition.
The dedication of the staff here it warms your heart. They're clear on their mission.
The mission at State College of Florida's 26 West Center, in partnership with Veterans Florida, is clear: empowering former military members to launch or grow their own businesses.
Whether it's my generation in the Army or some young gentleman or some young woman who's coming out of their last tour of duty was Afghanistan, which is couple of decades after me, they still encounter the same issues that I encountered 20 years before when they step out into the civilian world, and they need to understand who to trust to go to.
To answer questions like the ones he had starting a software development business right after service.
How do you get from point A to point B? And there's so many things you have to do in between. Everything from incorporating your business to understand marketing to finding a concise way to explain your value proposition.
The program's workshops teach business planning, AI marketing, and even how to buy a franchise.
That might be an option for a veteran to start a business, is to buy a business. We also include networking events, because the cohort style learning, that community of veterans, like-minded veterans with like-minded veterans, is so powerful.
So what are some of the success stories that you've seen come through this program?
In our last cohort, we had somebody who was developing AI robotics for back-of-the-house restaurants. So something very cutting edge, very, happening right now, and very ahead of the curve.
Why are you so passionate about veterans issues?
I think we live in a great country, and those who serve us, we should always be thankful and have gratitude toward. We could not have what we have here without them.
These folks care, and that's palpable. You can tell that. And it comes out in the way they constructed the program. It comes out in the way they market it. And it's a quiet caring. They're always here. And you can trust what they're going to tell you.
In Bradenton, Aduria Chumba, 10 Tampa Bay.
And classes start February 12th with an application deadline of February 3rd. Eligibility is open to veterans with an honorable discharge. We do have more information about this on our free 10 Tampa Bay app.
Tonight, we are learning new details about a chaotic scene that played out as firefighters responded to a mobile home fire in Sethner. Fire Rescue says a man attacked the Hillsborough County fire investigator who was there first on the scene. The investigator then held that man at gunpoint until deputies could arrive and take action. They say that delayed response to the actual fire, but they were eventually able to get it under control. The man is now charged with battery on a firefighter and resisting arrest. Because he is being held on the Baker Act, 10 Tampa Bay has decided not to release his name. And a heads up, if you're planning to be anywhere near Tampa International tonight, if you see smoke in the air, you smell it, do not be alarmed. As we speak, they are conducting a controlled burn training exercise on the airfield, similar to the one that you see in this video from previous trainings. They tell us it's going to last for another 2 hours or so, but this will not impact flights.
This weekend, Sarasota County is going to host an event dedicated to teaching the public about its prescribed burns. Tomorrow, the county will host the annual Fire Fest, educating the community on what these burns do for Florida's ecosystem. They say safety and preservation are at the forefront.
So these fires have been going on for thousands of years. So we just mimic that natural process by doing prescribed fire. So we do it under our terms, when the winds are at the right levels, when the humidity is at the right levels, so we can manage the fire to the best of our ability.
The peak of wildfire season starts in May. It'll last through July. Tomorrow's event will feature food and games. Fire demos, by the way, are going to be at 11:30 a.m. and 1 p.m. at T. Mabry Carlton Jr. Memorial Reserve.
The Sarasota County Fire Department will soon begin using a new life-saving tool to treat you in emergencies.
It's just a simple squeeze.
They've partnered with Suncoast Blood Centers to train EMTs and paramedics on administering whole blood transfusions directly on the scene.
So this is a military-grade cooler. Within that, we will store our 2 units of blood. And these are housed on each of the EMS captain's vehicles.
Whole blood means no components like plasma were removed, making it highly effective for treating patients with major blood loss before they get to the hospital.
Even if you're 10 or 15 minutes from the hospital, the data shows the faster you give the blood, the higher success rate of out of hospital for the patient to survive.
Using fake blood, they showed us how it works.
We would set them up to an infusion set, and we have what is called a LifeFlow rapid infuser. So this piece of equipment actually will infuse the blood into the patient through the warmer into the patient, 2 units in under 2 minutes.
They officially begin using it next month, but first they need your help.
So we ask that anybody give blood, but especially if you're O positive, you give blood. And when you donate to Suncoast, you tell them that it's for the Sarasota County Fire Department. That'll stay within our department. That'll allocate that blood for us and for the citizens and visitors of Sarasota.
Sarasota County will be one of only 156 departments across the country participating in the program.
Still ahead, a scam warning for anyone with a SunPass account. In less than 2 minutes, our Verified team has what you need to be on the lookout for.
And from a local library to an iconic beachfront staple, as hurricane repairs continue, we'll show you what's reopening and when.
Plus, as we keep an eye on the chilly temperatures, we are getting an update on a manatee rescued from the cold waters in St. Pete.
Everyone who comes into this clinic is a mystery. Solve a mystery, save a life.
Somebody help!
Our patients don't need doctors. Our patients need detectives.
He may be reckless,
This is not an approved procedure.
but he's also a genius. Who are you?
Watson premieres CBS Sunday, January 26th after the AFC Championship and streaming on Paramount+.
Morning news you can watch live or anytime.
With 10 Tampa Bay Plus.
With breaking news from overnight, weather to plan your day.
Make sure that you have a way to get alerts. I'm going to continue to follow these storms and much more exclusive content you can only find here.
But when life happens and takes you away from the story,
10 Tampa Bay Plus has you covered.
keeping you informed, prepared, and connected when you have time to catch up.
Watch 10 Tampa Bay live weekday mornings from 5 to 7.
Or on your time with 10 Tampa Bay Plus.
And it's like a movie script. It's family rivalry, betrayal, and murder.
They cover America's most fascinating true crime stories.
One way or another, that's an execution.
Absolutely.
Every case.
Who would want to hurt him?
Every clue.
This is dynamite for an investigator.
Every mystery that keeps you guessing until the very end.
Does everyone's jaws drop?
Dateline, 5 times a week. Watch weekdays at 4 on 10 Tampa Bay. Keeping you informed, prepared, and connected. You're watching 10 Tampa Bay.
This evening, we're getting an update on what caused this massive fire that damaged several businesses at St. Armand's Circle. This happened yesterday afternoon, but today we caught up with neighbors who witnessed it and the owner of one of the stores impacted.
No, we thought it was just the heater burning, and then it got a little thicker, and it was the smoke coming from next door, so we all had to evacuate.
And it looks like it was an undetermined electrical fire, and it affected 4 or 5 stores here. And we had quite a fire up on the roof. And with that, the ceilings collapsed and a lot of damage just across the board.
Scott is the owner of Sea Glass Lane. He tells us the store had already taken several hits recently. It flooded 4 times last year, forcing them to close for several weeks. But he is staying optimistic, vowing to reopen. Our Verify team is looking into some strange text messages going out to Floridians right now.
Verify viewer Hubert sent us a screenshot of the message that he received claiming to be from SunPass. It says to pay your toll or face excessive late fees and legal action. Frank Wiley verifies how this is a scam.
To get answers, we turn to these sources: the company itself, Crime Stoppers, and the Federal Trade Commission. Right off the bat, we can verify that these text messages are fake. SunPass says it will never ask for immediate payment through text. They do still send text alerts to people who have opted in, but those will never ask you to take urgent action. And they will only come from this 6-digit number. Taking a look at the message Hubert got, that came from an unrelated account. That's the first red flag. The second is the sense of urgency there. They want you to act as fast as you can so you don't have time to question it. Crime Stoppers also put out a very clear warning saying it's a scam. The Federal Trade Commission issuing a similar one last week. So if you get a message like this, the FTC urges you to report it to them and then delete the original message from your phone. By the way, this is a scam our Verify team has flagged several times over the last few years, so it's important to stay vigilant. With your Verify, I'm Frank Wiley.
If you see something that you'd like us to verify, you can email your questions to us, verify@10tampabay.com. You can also text us 727-577-8522. A heads up for anyone still needing help after the hurricanes. The Disaster Recovery Center in Palmetto is set to close this weekend. The site, located at the Palmetto Branch Library on 6th Street West, will close tomorrow at 7 p.m. If you still need help with FEMA applications, you can turn to FEMA's website, mobile app, or speak with someone over the phone.
The Don Cesar Hotel just announced it's going to reopen the next few months. They were forced to close after last year's hurricanes. Crews have spent the last few months fixing all the damage there. They say once they reopen, they will initially offer reduced services and amenities as they continue to work on the ground level facilities.
Manatee County just announced the Central Library will reopen for the first time since the storms on February 3rd. The building had significant damage. It's still undergoing repairs, actually. So once they do open, some schedules will change to work around that construction. And Ballast Point Pier will reopen for the Pirates tomorrow. The Mystic crew of Gasparilla built a temporary path to board their iconic ship in the morning for the pirate invasion. They have boarded that ship from Ballast Point Pier for nearly 110 years. It's a tradition. The pier was destroyed by Hurricane Milton. Tampa City Council approved a plan for the crew to build that path. At the moment, it is fenced off.
An update to a story we brought you on Wednesday. This evening, the manatee rescued from the cold waters near USF St. Pete is recovering at Zoo Tampa, and they've now named him Enzo. He was pulled from the water, suffering from cold stress that is similar to hypothermia. Today, the zoo tells us they have been fueling him with electrolytes and warming him up in a heated pool. Sounds nice with other sea cows.
Getting a little TLC.
Yeah.
Enzo is the name of the winter storm. You know, the Weather Channel names winter storms, and they named this one that dumped all the snow in Florida Enzo, so it's an appropriate name for him. Water temperatures have cooled down into the mid-50s as a result of this cold air. Tonight will be the coldest, and then gradually get warmer and warmer. In fact, next week, well, we'll remember what happened, but you wouldn't know it looking around. It's going to be a beautiful week, and the water temps will start to rebound just a little bit. So let's get you live outside for our Friday night. Temperatures starting to go back down through the upper 40s, so grab those jackets. I know they're handy. Beautiful sunset, though. These clouds, I've been watching all afternoon. They've been coming in off of the Gulf, or they just got here really last couple hours. But there's a few more out there, but more than anything else, we're going to be mainly clear overnight tonight. Stars and the moon out there. Northwest winds at 10 miles per hour, barely 50 degrees. It's 51 right now. But here are all the 40s. Newport Richey, Brooksville, Crystal River. We've got 46 still in Clearwater. 54 in Lakeland, one of our warmer spots. It's 53 in Sarasota right now. Satellite and radar showing clearing skies. There's this left of those clouds. They'll continue to push on out of here. No rain, no mist, no snowflakes. I didn't know I had to say that in Tampa, but we're fine. We're going to be dry. You can see those temperatures, though, quickly down through the 40s. Now, you see after about 2 to 3 in the morning, we have a weather impact alert. That's what this red shading is. And it basically gives you a heads up like, hey, that's some of the coldest air that's coming in, and the coldest part of the overnight and early morning hours. So that will go from 2 a.m. through 10 a.m., and then we'll warm things back up. Mid-30s, 36 for Tampa tomorrow morning. We made 37 this morning. 37 is the coldest that Tampa's been so far this season. That would be the coldest so far. And then looking ahead through the first week of February, I don't see anything, at least not yet. So that's good news. Now, the light blue, cold weather advisory issued by the National Weather Service. They're saying heads up. It's going to be one of those cold nights. Please be careful with the space heaters out there. Pasco, Hernando, and Citrus, that purple is a freeze warning. That means protect the pets, protect the plants, cover those things up. If you do cover them up, don't forget to get the cover off after about 9 or 10 in the morning tomorrow morning, because we will warm up a little bit. You can see that. There we go. Weather impact alert ends around 10 a.m. We're in the 40s. Then we go up into the low 60s for daytime highs. That's your Saturday. There's the parade forecast. Low 60s, about 62 degrees once we get to about 2:30, 3 o'clock. Gorgeous sunshine all the way through. It's going to be, when you're out walking around and hanging out there, you will be fairly comfortable. Now, let's talk boating, because the northeast winds will go 20 knots in the morning, but they come down to 10 knots. So if you're taking the boat, and I've done this before, from Pinellas around MacDill and get up into the northern part of the bay there, that stretch is going to be bumpy. As soon as you get north of Beer Can Island, I think things will calm down just a little bit, but that northeast wind direction is going to give you a pretty good bump out there on the bay. We're going choppy on the bay with exercise caution advisories for the first half of the day. Once you get up into Bayshore, obviously the northeast wind is basically protected by land, so near the Bayshore should be fine. 62 on Saturday, yes, 70 on Sunday. We'll be very close to it. I can't wait for that. And then look at this stretch ahead the next 10 days through next weekend. Mid to upper 70s. One small rain chance on Friday, and it's real small. And then if you look, that was through almost the first week of February. We're getting into it. This is taking us February 1st through the February 7th. Looks like we want to stay above average. Great news there. I'll be doing updates throughout the weekend on the weather. Bobby Deskin's Weather, my Facebook and YouTube. You can always find me there on X, almost said Twitter. There you go. There's your 7-day forecast. Getting back to normal, guys. Low to mid 70s most of next week.
Back to normal is really good, Bobby. Thanks. Right now, the Alafia River Rendezvous is underway in Homeland, Florida, just south of Bartow. It's the largest pre-1840 living history encampment in the Southeast. Thousands of people visited every year to see what life was like without electricity and all the other modern conveniences. You're going to find food, games, and crafts as well, like broom making, blacksmithing, and weaving. The camp's going to be open to the public tomorrow from 9 a.m. to 3 p.m. Admission, by the way, $15 for adults, $5 for seniors and kids. Keep in mind it's cash only.
In a stunning reversal, the Buccaneers offensive coordinator backed out of his agreement to stay in Tampa Bay to become the new head coach of the Jaguars. Coming up, what Liam Cohen had to say about his move to Jacksonville and what the Bucs' next steps are.
The stars of our show.
I am your host, Ryan Seacrest.
The Wheel You Love is back.
Yes! Let's have some fun.
This season will truly be unlike any other.
This has never happened before on Wheel of Fortune.
With bigger trips.
Yeah, baby.
Bigger prizes.
I'd love to take you backstage to the iHeartRadio Music Festival.
And bigger surprises.
There it is.
What a great show!
Let's do it again tomorrow.
Wheel. Weeknights at 7 on 10 Tampa Bay.
Morning news you can watch live or anytime.
With 10 Tampa Bay Plus.
With breaking news from overnight, weather to plan your day.
Make sure that you have a way to get alerts. I'm going to continue to follow these storms
and much more exclusive content you can only find here.
But when life happens and takes you away from the story,
10 Tampa Bay Plus has you covered.
keeping you informed, prepared, and connected when you have time to catch up.
Watch 10 Tampa Bay live weekday mornings from 5 to 7.
Or on your time with 10 Tampa Bay Plus. When the weather changes, you feel the impact. And you told us alerting you when the weather turns severe is the most important thing we can do.
That's why 10 Tampa Bay is taking forecasting to the next level with Weather Impact Alert Days. So you'll know when to be alert, how the weather will impact your day, and how to keep your family safe.
Keeping you informed, prepared, and connected with Weather Impact Alert on 10 Tampa Bay and 10 Tampa Bay Plus. Now, sponsored by Advent Health. This is 10 Sports.
In 20 years, this century, since the turn of the century, I don't remember the last time I heard one team this hot and bothered about a coach taking another deal.
Hot and bothered is the way Adam Schefter describes how the Bucs feel about Liam Cohen becoming Jaguars head coach. There are some other terms that come to my mind, but this is a family program. I mean, as early as 7 o'clock yesterday morning, the Bucs front office expected Cohen to come to One Buck Place and sign the most lucrative coordinator contract in NFL history, a deal that Schefter reported this morning Cohen felt strong-armed into. By 10:45 last night, Cohen notified the Bucs that he was taking the job in Jacksonville. He officially agreed to terms this afternoon, and in a statement, Cohen says, "This doesn't happen without the support and opportunities that my family and I have been afforded throughout my career, especially during this past season in Tampa Bay. We thank Todd Bowles for his continued support and the entire Buccaneers organization for the experience, and know they will have success ahead." And the Bucs could have success ahead, but they are now the first team since 2014 to lose offensive coordinators to head coaching jobs in back-to-back seasons. Just like Cohen, Dave Canales left Tampa Bay after one season. He's now the head coach of the Carolina Panthers. So now Tampa Bay is on the search for its fourth offensive coordinator in 4 seasons. There's been no official list of candidates released by the team, but these are some of the names that could be in the running. Just my opinion here. Number 1, Josh Grizzard. He was the Bucs pass game coordinator this season and was responsible for the Bucs' third down offense. Thad Lewis is another in-house candidate. He's been with the Bucs throughout all of the recent offensive coordinator turnover. If the Bucs want to pick from the Sean McVay tree, like they did with Liam Cohen, they can try to poach Mike LaFleur or Jake Peets from the Rams and Seahawks. As for the Lightning, they enjoyed their first back-to-back off days of the month on Wednesday and Thursday, and are now set to get back in action tonight against Chicago. And this road trip hasn't gone their way so far. They lost their first 2 games of the week, but a win tonight followed by another tomorrow against Detroit will give them 4 points for the week, and this group will take that. The puck drops tonight at 8. Back here at home, the Rowdies have added 2 MLS experienced defenders to bolster their rosters this week. The club is pumped about that and the fact that they will be back in Al Lang Stadium this year, playing their home opener on April 12th following repairs. We'll be right back.
Did you cut the cord?
But still want your local news for free?
It can happen. Just stream 10 Tampa Bay Plus.
And the best part? You can watch us live.
Or catch up with what's happening anytime you want. It's always the latest news, updated weather forecasts, and a whole lot more. You can even customize your favorites so you see what you want right away.
We think there's no better way to stay informed, prepared, and connected. Stream the free 10 Tampa Bay Plus app now.
And it's like a movie script. It's family rivalry, betrayal, and murder.
They cover America's most fascinating true crime stories.
One way or another, that's an execution.
Absolutely.
Every case.
Who would want to hurt him?
Every clue.
This is dynamite for an investigator.
Every mystery that keeps you guessing until the very end.
Does everyone's jaws drop?
Dateline, 5 times a week.
Watch weekdays at 4 on 10 Tampa Bay.
Morning news you can watch live or anytime.
With 10 Tampa Bay Plus.
With breaking news from overnight, weather to plan your day.
Make sure that you have a way to get alerts. I'm going to continue to follow these storms.
And much more exclusive content you can only find here.
But when life happens and takes you away from the story,
10 Tampa Bay Plus has you covered.
Keeping you informed, prepared, and connected when you have time to catch up.
Watch 10 Tampa Bay live weekday mornings from 5 to 7.
Or on your time with 10 Tampa Bay Plus. Look at Bayshore Boulevard right now. You can see food trucks are out, and so are the benches to watch tomorrow's Pirate Parade.
Find a schedule of Gasparilla events on our free 10 Tampa Bay app for your phone.
You're looking right now, as Dave was saying, this is Bayshore Boulevard.
And Magnolia.
And Swan right there, because
Yep.
it just takes you up to
Yep.
Swan. But up and down Bayshore, from bay to bay, where it steps off all the way through, there's a lot of stuff that's going to go on. And so I want to make sure that you know what to expect with the weather. We've been talking about it all evening.
Yeah, and you could see those winds were blowing out of the northeast, so it was calm right there as far as boating goes, right up against Bayshore, but you get down towards the end of McDill, that's where it's going to be bumpy. But look, the morning hours are the bumpiest, the wind gets better in the afternoon, and for everybody else on land, cold in the morning, but I don't want to say beautiful because it's 10 degrees below
Nicer.
average,
Right.
but much nicer and sunny and dry. So
What about the
we're getting
Kumquat
there.
Festival?
The Kumquat Festival is going to be amazing. They're going to be cold there in the morning. They're going to
it
be
is.
near freezing first thing in the morning, but beautiful in the afternoon.
Yeah, get there
You wanna
early.
Sure.
All right.
Why not?
Dade City it is, David.
Yep, that'll be fun. All right, hope to see you back here at 11 from all of us here. Have a great